I need to get ready for work. I need to get going, but I've got to do a recording on this. I've got to. It's a moral imperative, as they say. So, yesterday, Trump made the comment about AOC and Ms. Tlaib and all these different people who have been elected. Let's just be honest. They were elected to oppose Trump. Let's be honest. You had your first, I think, Muslim woman or your second Muslim woman in Congress. You got a woman. She's an Indian. She's gay. She's a kickboxer. And let me say, as Trump gets more right wing, as he gets more just open and blatant about his racism, people are going to turn more left. I mean, they keep talking about how he keeps talking about how the Democrats are all liberals, but the reality, the honest God fact of the matter is, as you continue doing the things you're doing, you'll keep voting more left. And you can't really be surprised by that because they think that's a defense. They think that and that's what the midterms were really about. It was showing you, because remember Trump got all quiet for a couple of days after that? Yeah, because it was showing, that's water there, I ain't sweating. They're showing you that for the most part, Trump can bullshit and talk his stuff and everything, but you can't argue with facts. And you've got a lot of people in this country who don't like the way he's leading the country, who don't like it. And they felt like electing those people would kind of balance Trump out, kind of. It was showing people are not happy. And that's why Trump got all quiet. See, Trump can bullshit, he can lie, he can play games, but he can't argue with facts. And the facts are simply that people are not happy with these comments he's making and the decisions he's making. So Trump made a comment the other day, like I said, talking about how if these people are so happy, people on the left are so happy, why don't they go back to where they come from and build their countries up? And honestly, I'm thinking about it now. That's probably frustration. It was. Sometimes people, when they're frustrated, I don't want to say they go too far, but they let it all out when they probably should just shut their mouth and just, keep moving. This was one of those things, liberals talk about the what you call it? Liberals talk about the Southern strategy of Nixon and how that's what Trump is. He's an extension of the Southern strategy. We agree. I agree 100% with that. He's the extension of it. Clear as day. I bet if somebody asked him, he'd probably be like, yeah, I am. He probably would. Yeah, I am. I think this is one of those things, I tell you all the time, that I don't want them to take Trump's Twitter away. Please, God, no. Don't take his Twitter away. Because it's intriguing to me, man. It's intriguing. He's showing you a side of America that we always knew existed. Black people. We always knew existed. But, maybe we just were fooled, or maybe it wasn't so public. It was in the closet for a while, and now it's like, nope. So this lady was talking about how, I guess, you have the middle progressives that are kind of frustrated with AOC, and maybe they kind of buy into the whole, socialism, they might buy into all that stuff. And it's like something in me rose up, something in me screamed, because I'm like, middle of the road, we're at war. That's what these mass shootings mean. That's what putting bombs in the mail and sending them to well-known progressives all over the country. If we were like the brown shirts with Hitler and all that. And someone was like, all right, I'm going to send a letter bomb to every, all the socialists. These would be like the top leaders of the, you know what I mean? This would be the top people. Obama, what's the dude's name? Not De Niro, Maxine Waters, the dude used to be CIA guy, I think Brennan, I believe. I mean, this was a message. If you ain't got that if you're a progressive and you ain't figured it out by now, that was a clear and open act of war, I don't know what to tell you. I can't really help you. You know what I mean? If you can't see that, then maybe you need to get your eyes checked. Because that was clear as day. There's a guy. Ooh, shit. There's a guy. He's worked for Trump. And he's another example of one of these guys that are conservatives. But, Trump, as I say, Trump being Trump, he ends up running people off. See, Trump really, and maybe these conservatives don't realize this starting out, he's not really a conservative. I think Trump is a racist. I think he believes in keeping black people down and keeping brown people in their place. I think he's that. Yeah, I think Trump is that. But as far as, we're going to uphold the Constitution, no. Trump's none of that. Trump is none of that. That's you wasting your time. He's none of that. That is not what Donald J. Trump is about. He's about power. He's a fascist. And that's why you see him wanting to buddy up with all these fascists. With Duarte in the Philippines, with the guy in North Korea, talking about, we're in love. I mean, it's not funny. It's not funny. This is, you're dealing with a fascist. I think I heard he's got the Mussolini book by his bedside. I mean, nothing funny about any of that. This is dangerous. And so anybody who's like, well, you're going too far, I can't really listen to that. I can't. I can't really spend any time listening to that because there was a guy, like I said, this guy, I guess he supported Trump, but I guess, Trump had tried to do something. I can get you his name. And Trump ended up having him, removed, had him fired or whatever. And there was a guy that was stalking him. And I think he had security or something, and they called the police. Police ran up on the guy. The guy had a rifle in his car. The guy had been sitting out there watching his house, man. I feel nothing for that man. And I feel nothing for his family. Look in my eyes. I feel nothing for that man. I feel nothing for his family. Because you know what? Now guess what? Because he ran abreast or whatever of the Fuhrer, of Donald Trump, now he gets to feel how it feels to be hunted. It's like the rest of us, hunted. We're at war. You can run around here and fool yourself and pretend and play little games if you want to. We're being hunted. And we're at war, All of this stuff. A part of me feels like this stuff has to happen. It probably sounds crazy to say it, but it has to happen. This guy was talking about how white people are, they're not the majority, or they're becoming not the majority, and so they're angry. And this is true. All of that is on point. All of that is truth, and that's gonna continue. That's not going anywhere. And so Trump is kind of like a throwback. You know what I mean? It's kind of like when you're getting over illness or whatever, and like the worst part is before it breaks. That's what Trump is, man. He's the worst part before it breaks. So, a part of me believes grudgingly these things have to happen. We have to go through these things because America is a settler colonial state. That's what it was based upon. Theft and coercion and fraud and all that stuff, That's what it was based upon. So people are not going to just accept this moving to a new what you call it? Not moving to a new what do we call it? They're not just gonna move into a new economic system overnight. They're not gonna just. I get that. It's just it is what it is. It completely is what it is. But some people say that it was a bad move, him doing it, him making the racist comments, in that it's a bad time that I don't know about this, but you had a lot of Black Caucus and other groups who really weren't for the progressives. They're more conventional Democrats, if you will. Where's my oatmeal at? They're more conventional Democrats, and I say that in that they are more let's work together, let's have a softer, kinder capitalism. And AOC and Tlaib, they represent something different. They represent a change. They represent something very, very different. And that when Trump made that comment about, well, if you don't like it, you should go back to your country, he kind of allied them. Because let's understand, that wasn't just a comment for Tlaib and Ilhan Omar. That was a comment for people of color everywhere in this country, whether you be black, brown, Asian, any of it. See what I keep saying? I say this every day. I say it probably every week. I say this. I know y'all probably tired of me saying this. Trump's base is basically saying that no matter how talented black people are, no matter how smart black people are, no matter how successful black people are, we allow you to exist. We're not, you know what I mean? That's why you had the guy on Fox News say, all I do now is buy guns and vote. That's why he said that. We allow you to exist. We allow you to work. We allow, and like I said, not just black people, Asians, Hispanics, all of it. We allow you to operate. And at any time we can remove you. I'm sorry, I missed something there. Going back, that guy I told you that ran afoul of Donald Trump and this guy was stalking him and everything, I thought about the Klan. Because that's what the Klan did. The Klan really, if you do your history, it really wasn't designed to go after black people, especially not poor black people out in the woods somewhere. I mean, you had chapters. Anytime you come up with something and you have it so broad like that, it's going to be a little bit, different mission statements, depending on where it's at. They have different struggles, different fights. But the Klan was really designed to go after and to threaten the white people who chose to work with the blacks during Reconstruction. After and during Reconstruction. That's really what that was about. We're going to get these blacks back under control. How dare you work with them? How dare you work with them when they're less than human? That's what the Klan was really historically about. And so when I saw that, they found a rifle in the car and he'd been sitting out there. I guess he'd been following them. I'm like, wow, they're going back to what they always were. They're going back to being the Klan, race soldiers. I want people to understand something. I want folks to understand something. That being a race soldier, when I say that, that's not saying all you're doing is going after black people. Okay? And when I say about being a white supremacy, I'm not just talking about white. White supremacy is not about just being white. If we're going to keep it 100, that's who it was for. That's not really what white supremacy is about, maintaining control and dominance of your environment. Period. Financially, physically. It's like the brother in California said, it's three main tenets of white supremacy: rhetoric, policy, and violence. That's basically what that is. It's not just, we don't like black people. No, it's tiers of it. To where we even go after other white people who choose to affiliate themselves with black empowerment, black liberation, whatever. I thought it was crazy. One of the people at Black Lives Matter was actually a white guy. I guess he got beaten up by the cops years ago, and I was surprised. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. I was just surprised. Like, wow, they hate that. I was on Cedar Post. This cop was talking about that. They hate that because if the movement can broaden to be about more than just race, but to be about social inequality, but to be about living somewhere where you're getting pushed out of your area. If it's about quality of life issues, if it's about police brutality, if it's about government corruption, if you make it about that, and it still has a class struggle, it still has a social class struggle interweaved into it. But if you can make it about all those things combined, you can get a lot more people. I've said it before. If White Lives Matter, if they came out here and they said, look, things aren't fair and things aren't right, and if they actually talked about these kind of issues that I'm talking about now, I'd march with them all day. If they said all lives matter, and they would, but that's not what it is. Those things are designed to downplay what's been done and what's being done to black people everywhere. That's what that's about. It's kind of like how white men use sarcasm a lot. That's it. That's what White Lives Matter is. Sarcasm. It's sarcasm. It's sarcasm taken to a much further extent than most of us are used to. But it's sarcasm nonetheless. It's sarcasm. That's really what that's about. It's about sarcasm. Like I said with InfoWars, it's all about saying, look, man, things aren't that bad for black people. Things aren't that bad for gay people. That's really what those things are about. I always tell you guys this. White supremacy is a filter. It's all a filter. Some people are going to accept it for value, and some people aren't. And they know that. They got remember the episode, I can't find my cap. Remember the episode of King of the Hill, Boomhauer? I guess King of the Hill, he thought his son was gay. And so he had his son hang out with Boomhauer. Now, Boomhauer was an asshole. He would go up to women and just, I guess we could just say in a very aggressive manner, that was his way of trying to get women. Just being really aggressive and, come on, baby, I'm playing with him and stuff. A lot of the women didn't like that. A lot of the women, they wouldn't even look at him more than a couple seconds. But if he threw it out to 10 women, he might get 2. And he was like, I'll keep coming back. He'll keep coming back, That, to me, is a white supremacist. That's it. That's a white supremacist. Going out here, saying and doing things that are ridiculous, saying and doing things that you know are really pig-like, but you do it anyway. Because you know or you believe that for some people it'll ring true. That's what that is. I find a cat to my blender. What do I do with that? Yeah, that's what that's about. Oh man, I lost it. I was on top. Well, that sucks. Is it? No. But yeah, sometimes I think that Trump likes to show people he's an asshole, if that makes sense. It probably sounds crazy. That he likes them to know he's a Billy Badass. And I say that in regards to these comments he makes where, everybody's like, dude, why are you saying that? That's bad optics. It's bad timing. Just like a vampire. Just like a vampire. A vampire wants to show you how bad he is. A vampire wants to show you how fucked up he is. A vampire, he wants you to know, I am a bad dude. You know what I mean? And he has to get permission. Vampire isn't really trying to, he had permission from you. And that's how I feel with Trump more and more on the regular, that he's a goon, This guy on there made a comment that I thought was interesting. He was talking about how we're in a cold civil war. I agree with that 100%. We're in a cold civil war. Trump knows it, and he's playing upon that by making these kind of comments about they should go back. Listen, man, nobody's going anywhere. Nobody's going back in the closet. Nobody's going back to Africa. Nobody's going anywhere. I can't even. I don't even want to go into that. 4:30. We'll get about here in a minute. But yeah, you know, it's disgusting. It's disgraceful to see where Trump has brought this country. I always go back to it. I will say this is a little different. Last time I spoke on this, I asked you guys. I said, "Are you angry at Trump? Really? Or are you angered by American foreign policy that's gotten us into like 4 or 5 wars at once?" And now Trump done something people didn't know, where they're bombing Somalia. Yes. And I had a good point. But these recent comments, that's something else. I don't even know what to. Yeah, that's something else. This is different. This is different, and it's nasty, and it's disgusting. And I found it. It's nasty, and it's disgusting, and it's disgraceful. You know, it really is. But like I told you guys before, what Trump is telling you is what white people have been saying all along. We allow you blacks to exist. We allow you blacks to work. We allow you blacks to come in our areas. That's why they call police. That's what that's about. That's about telling you, I don't want you here. So no, you might not go to jail. You know, you probably bail out if you do go to jail. You probably bail out in a few hours. Yeah. And then, guess what? The charges might get dropped tomorrow or whenever. That's fine. I don't want you in my community. And that's what that's all about. And Trump is playing upon that. Sorry. Trump is playing upon that. He's playing upon that sense. He's playing upon that sense that, you know, this is our country. You know, we run this really. And you people don't belong here. You know? One thing I say all the time, when they talk about stuff like that. I know there are people I know that are like, oh, it's morally wrong. One thing I go into is, why are those countries shitholes? Can I ask you that? I can go in here and talk about embargoes. I could talk about things like that all day and all night. Sanctions being done against countries for years on end who have not threatened America, who are not at war. I could talk about that kind of stuff for hours on end. We're not going to do that today. You know, and we're not going to do that today. But, you know, I learned about Operation Condor, which is America was funding these countries, Chile and a couple other countries down there that were really, really, really doing brutal things. And even Kissinger was like, hey, you know, we need to stop this. I was shocked, you know, and what they would do when the Red Cross would come to see about prisoners and stuff, they throw them in a swimming pool and put a cover over them. I mean, no water in it. And they put them out there, you know, and they make it look like, oh, this is a nice facility when they were killing people. You know what I mean? This is America's history. This is America's history. This is what America has done all over the world. And you want to sit here and tell people that these are shithole countries and this is socialism and is it really? Or is it that you've had these proxy wars been going on with America, with Russia, Soviets, whatever, that has made these countries shells of their former self? That's not socialism, man. That's not socialism. That's Western imperialism, sticking their nose where it don't belong, and like a coworker of mine said, playing the world police. That's what that's about, man. You know, I know you want to make it about socialism. You know, because Trump is an ideologue. He's an ideologue, and that's what ideologues do. Yep. That's what them kind of folks do. You know, they got to make everything about politics. Got to make everything about the economy and all that kind of stuff. To me, it was a low blow. I'm not used to a conservative playing as dirty as Trump does. I don't think we've had a president in my lifetime that's played quite as dirty as Trump plays. He plays it dirty, man. He plays it dirty. I think we have to acknowledge that. Yeah, Trump, he that boy plays dirty. That's his policy. That's how he operates, man. Yeah, Trump plays dirty, man. For real. And I'm beginning to believe, the conservatives like him for that. I'm beginning to believe that. They like him for that. They think that's the way to go. That's the way to do things. And it kind of bothers me. It bothers me because I've heard certain things growing up in America that I realize now are lies. About, you know, doing things a certain kind of way. And it almost is like MSNBC puts it, that the browning of America, or whatever you want to call it. That America's changing. These white folks are frustrated. So we're going to just cheat. We're going to cheat every game we play. Break every rule. You know? Break every rule there is. That kind of bothers me. That kind of bothers me a little bit. And it bothers me because can't really win against something like that. It's hard to win against it's hard to win against people like that. You know? And this is different. This is a very different time than I think anybody's used to. You know? So, I don't know. I think that, like I said, what he did was a low blow. And it was nasty. And I think that we should really expect better from elected officials, whether it be executive, judicial, legislative, any of them. I think we should expect better of them. Way better than the things that Trump is doing and saying. I say this all the time, that Trump's actions, the way that he's talking, the way that he's moving, will cost lives. Lots of them. And he knows it, you know. And if me coming on here and talking saves someone's life or brings attention to something, then it's worth me being called unpatriotic. But we are at war. Being a middle of the roader. And I thought it was interesting, Comey, he notices that. A lot of these guys know that we're at war, man. We're at war. Period. There's no other way. We're at war. Period. You know? And a part of me is like, yeah, that's, you know, I like knowing where my enemies are and having them out in the open. But we're at war. You know, I kind of wish that I could have had the life my mom had, you know, and go out here and travel and go to these different places. And I probably won't be able to do that. Because it's going to get worse and worse in this country. It's going to get worse. You know, I don't believe Trump is going to bow out gracefully. It's amazing how almost every president, if you look up his stuff, people are like, well, he was a good guy. And they'll be like, they'll try to put his negatives in a positive light. And with Donald Trump, I'm just not sure you can do that. Unless you're an ideologue. Unless you're Fox News, I'm not talking about that, you know. There was a guy was on Fox News. I didn't watch it. MSNBC put it out there. Somebody put it out there. I seen it. where this guy was talking about these people are communists and socialists. Let me tell you something. There would be no greater honor for me than would it be for someone like these current politicians. You call me a socialist or a commie. Because they're so far right that it doesn't even mean anything. You know what I mean? Peace, y'all.